from the off-grid shop, and Nathan's going to join me.
Hey guys, how you going?
I can't hear anything. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm having a technical day. Hang on.
I can hear you on this one.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope everyone else can hear. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Cool. Today we're going to just have a chat. So we're both into off-grid living. I live rural, quite remote, off-grid, in a little kind of rustic cabiny shack with a 500-watt solar system, and it's kind of like the quintessential setup, I guess, what people think of when they think of old school off-grid living. And but really one of the things that I feel pretty passionate about is that anybody can go off-grid, and that way that I live is just, one version of it. And so Nathan's going to talk about his place, which is in town in Lismore. What do you reckon the population is?
It's around 50,000, I think, in the Shire.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, and what you're doing to go off-grid? You're taking place off-grid, aren't you? Or are you going to be hybrid?
Yeah, I'm going to be hybrid technically, but I'm going to be as off-grid as possible at my place. I'm just getting a double loop thing. It's like,
are you? I'll go out to the others. So everyone, please just bear with us. We're having a few technical issues. So, okay, keep chatting. I can't hear anything. So
okay.
I don't know. You're going to have to. I'm going to have to. You keep talking while I sort out my headphones.
Yeah. All right. So
this works.
Yeah. So my system's going to be in town. I'll be getting it soon. I'm just going to see if I can bring up a picture here.
Is it working for you?
Yeah.
Cool. You can do the share like this. Oh.
No, that didn't work.
You do it again. It was probably me that made the. I did see it flash before.
Yep, just bear with me. I'll just get it again.
So for those of you who've joined us, just we're having a few little tech issues, but we're going to smooth them out. Nathan's going to talk about taking his house, which is in town in Lismore. And I didn't hear before because I was on my way out. Are you taking it completely off-grid?
No, so it's going to be a hybrid system. I will be trying to go as off-grid as possible, but when we do need the grid, when there's been a couple rainy days, then we will be taking power from the grid.
So you'll have the option of like plugging back in, or
back when
you want to.
Yeah. So I'll bring up the picture here. That's better. So you can see that there, can you?
I'm going to turn. Yeah, there we go.
All right, awesome. So this system that I'm chucking up is going to be a solar edge system. They're one of my favorite systems to put in, to install. Just for the simple reason you can put panels wherever you want and you can link them up, and as long as it's in the parameters of the solar edge design, then you can just put them anywhere and make it work. So that's why I've chosen to go with solar edge. And the way solar edge works is that each panel is optimized. So all of these panels are optimized together to make it work even when it shades. So usually if you've got 10 panels in a row and you shade one of them, it's going to reduce the performance of all of them because they're all on a string together. But with solar edge, you can just put them anywhere, and you can have one or two that shades, you can have a few that shades, half of them can be shading, and your system will still perform like normal.
It doesn't take down the performance of the other panels.
No, it'll let the other ones just keep cranking, and it'll just take out those ones that are shaded until they kick back on. So that's why I've done solar edge on this house, because as you can see, I've got an enormous tree in my backyard, and we do get a fair bit of shading, but there'll be enough sun there to do what I want to do and pretty much make a zero bill.
And can you just go back one step, because I don't really understand what you mean when you say you can put the panels anywhere. It's like they still have to be capturing the sun, don't they?
Yeah, so they'll still be capturing the sun. I've still got my western panels here, my northern ones here, and my eastern ones here. It just means that, so with normal solar, when you don't have an optimized system, like you can see my next door neighbors here.
It's a good example to have it next door so you can see the difference.
Yeah, so they've got normal string inverters, and with a system like this one next to me, that would have all been one string, and that would have all been one string. So it's two strings here. And because you can't mix and match, have north and east on the same string. I mean, you can, but it's not recommended for design because it'll fluctuate. Because when the sun comes over here into the west and into the afternoon, these ones will still be getting sun, but these ones won't. So it would, if you had them all in one string, it would affect the string in that sense. So that's what I mean by you can put them anywhere in the sense that they'll all be one string, but they'll be facing all different directions.
Okay, so now, like if we were going to future cast and just say, so I live off grid, don't have the option of going, of connecting to the grid, but you're going relatively off grid, but you do have the option of going on the grid if you want to. What happens if we have a major systems breakdown? I'm just thinking apocalypse at the moment because everything feels so dire. Yeah. But what is that? How would that work for you? Because before you were saying, it's rainy for a few days.
Yeah, so that's the thing about my system is it will require, because of the shading and all that, there's not enough solar there. Basically, I'd need a bunch of solar to keep my batteries charged for what I want to do. So if there was 3 days of rain and there was no grid available due to apocalypse or rain or whatever, then yeah, I would have no way of charging my batteries. So,
and that's because of that tree, that one tree there.
Yeah, the one big tree in the back here. But even so, even if you don't have shading, you will get a whole week or two where you have rain and you won't be able to charge your batteries.
I've got that.
Yeah, which is why a lot of hybrid and off-grid systems, they can have a backup generator as well, so you can just charge your batteries.
Yeah.
But this will do exactly what I wanted to do, which is there was two reasons I wanted to go kind of hybrid / off-grid, and one was for the cost, obviously. Yeah, just because usually chucking in batteries isn't that cost effective for people. We tell a lot of our customers that if you've got the grid there, you're best off to use it. It takes a long time to pay back the batteries when you put them in. But for my situation, it was going to be pretty cost effective to chuck in batteries, and I'm going to start off really small. So I'm only going to have one battery in there, and that'll just be powering my lights and my fridge overnight. And I am really low energy use at my house, so one battery might be able to get me by, but I can easily add another one in the future if I want to get more storage.
One battery is pretty optimistic. I've got two batteries and I've got a 500 watt system.
Yep. Yeah, so the battery I would be chucking in would most likely be a Eco Power Plus, and they're 4 kilowatt hour of storage. And I usually only use about 120 watts per hour throughout the night. So 10 hours of that is 1.2 kilowatt hours. And I've still got, almost 3 kilowatt hours of storage left after that.
So if we're just thinking about your experience of when you have been doing installs, do you find that you're doing many of these systems for people that live in more urban or town situations?
Yeah, definitely. It seems like since this whole COVID thing has kicked off, a lot of people are really nervous about the future and they want some sort of reliability and control of their life. So even if they have the grid there, they're thinking, oh, what if one day they just turn off the grid or turn off the power, and then I've got 2 weeks with no power, which can happen. Like you look at what happened in Texas, they had 2 or 3 weeks without power, And
Yeah.
it didn't take long until people started panicking and, looting, and, it's not what you want in your house, really.
No, that's true. And have you ever found that there's people that go, I'm going to share half the page with you. Have you ever found that there's people that go like completely off grid? Like I know, so Mike and Sarah took their place off in Sydney, their place in Sydney off grid, and Michael Mobbs took his place. And I know there's a couple of other people that I've heard about too. But do you come across many people that do that in a town situation, just go completely off grid?
Yeah, well, you can. It's kind of like with a hybrid system, you technically, depending on how the system is, you technically are off grid. Like for my hybrid system, I'm going to be off grid like 300 out of the 300 days of the year. I'm going to be off grid completely, and there won't be any need for grid. But it's just those rainy weeks and days like that where, I will have to use the grid just to top up my batteries, and it'll still be cost effective, but it won't be in the sense of being completely off grid.
So I've got more of a philosophical question for you now. But what do you think? Like, how do you think that changes your behaviour in terms of energy efficiency? If you know that you've got like that backup in the background that you can connect into the grid. Because at night time I have one dull light on and I charge my battery if it's on my computer if it's really low. But it's like I've just trained to be like that.
Yeah, it does take a while for people to switch over to the off-grid lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it happens pretty surprisingly quick, because when you have that need to monitor your batteries and make sure you have enough power.
Step on in. Look, here's your mate.
G'day, how you doing?
Oh, fellow apprentice.
There we go.
Yeah, so it doesn't take long for people to realize they do need to be careful with their energy, depending on their budget. Some people are willing just to throw however much money and just make the problem go away and make sure they have enough battery storage.
Yeah.
But for the average person who just wants to go off grid or have a hybrid system, you will notice very quickly they'll start to change their lifestyle and
their behaviour.
Not leave the heater and the aircon on at the same time just to keep a nice temperature.
Yeah. And not have like lights on that you're not using at night time.
Yeah.
That's my main rhythm at night time, seems to be this light choreography dance of between the two cabins of like, can I get across to the other cabin with no lights on, or like this tonight, is it full moon or it's not full moon? Are the fireflies out and can they light my path? Do you want to add anything about taking places off grid in town?
In town?
Yeah.
Well, you got electric hot water systems, generally the big one.
Yeah.
So that's a huge load. But look, most townhouses are designed to run off the grid, especially older ones. Big loads, heat water when you want it, air conditioning, that sort of stuff. But it's easy to start, and especially once you have monitoring, it's easy to start weeding these things out, making adjustments or replacing them.
Yeah. That's cool.
And it doesn't take much to adapt to the lifestyle. Like, if you're really finding that you can't live with one battery and you've got kids who just won't learn, then with the systems that we do, you can easily add more in the future. And you don't have to replace your whole system. You can just whack in another battery and you'll double your capacity without having to replace everything.
Yeah, I love that. I think that, how I was saying to you before, how you've got if you're in town and you have a hybrid system and you have that kind of backup security psychologically, I guess that's what I feel. It's like, I can always just add another panel or another battery in the future if I need to.
Yeah. It depends on the person as well. Like, I'm pretty stingy with money, so for me, I'm not going to be just using stuff because I can. I'll be thinking about the cost in the back of my head.
Yeah, but what about like if you want to run power tools or something? I mean, I've been loving having the Delta to borrow for building. It's been so great just for because it's quiet and it uses hardly any power. It's amazing, like the percentage of it going down. And I think that would be enough for someone like me just to have as that, because there's certain blenders, most blenders I can't run on my system. Like in the morning I have to, when I'm making my smoothie, like pulse it so that it's not actually draining the system. Yeah. So, Mum bought me some egg whiskers or egg beater things, but she had to search. We had to search properly for the right ones that would run on my system.
Yep.
But yeah, it's nice having the Delta. Just kind of, it makes you feel a little bit more like, I don't know, you can consume a bit more power.
Yeah, it is very user friendly in that sense. That your average person can plug in most of their appliances and it'll just work.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it at all. Yeah,
No.
that's what I do. At night time, I'm like, okay, my phone's almost out and I really want to watch a show on my computer and it's almost out too and I haven't charged it during the day. Which one do I want to have working?
Yeah. That's when you get on your little bike and start producing power.
Well, actually, my neighbour said to me the other day, he's just bought a share out there and he's going radically off grid. Actually, we should do a live with him because he's really interesting. And he's setting up a washing machine with a bike attached to it to run his washing machine.
Oh, wow.
And I don't have a washing machine because it takes too much power. And I go into town. I thought, wow, that'd be really cool because that could be like your one bike ride a week, just like getting on and doing the washing.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool things you can do to, make the most of what you got. I've seen people use washing machine like the inside.
The barrel.
Yeah, the barrel, and they've used it as a sort of a turbine thing in a river.
Oh,
and it's
make
creating
power.
Yeah, it's creating power like that.
So in some washing machines, you can rewire them so that if you spin them, they put out DC.
Yeah, right.
DC current. Oh, they will. You have to modify them to put out DC. Generally, they put out AC and convert it to DC to charge batteries.
How cool.
Yeah.
Need a river.
Yep. Or wind, you can use it.
With wind.
As well. Anything that you can use to spin it.
Hmm.
A propeller or a Pelton wheel on it.
How great.
Generate electricity.
We need to do a few series on these crazy off-grid.
Yeah, the wacky stuff is.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Oh, cool. Either of you got anything else to add to living? I mean, I guess the point of it really is just to say that anyone can go off-grid or can do, take their system to hybrid level, and not to feel like just because you live in town or you live in the city that option isn't available. I think it's even more important.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine whole cities going that way. It'd be fantastic.
Would.
Yeah, that's how I imagine the future.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about that recently. They were trying to do that at Thai Albert. It'd be really cool to follow that up and see whether they've done that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Have we covered anything about having our own stored water, rainwater?
No, we haven't done anything other than power, but go for it. Yeah.
Well, any ideas really?
Well, the only thing I was thinking about was I remember my grandparents lived in Armidale up in the New England tablelands, and they had to decommission their rainwater tank because it was illegal at one point to council DA, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's not like that anymore, but it's just that kind of, council regulations or local government regulations that change what you can and can't do. But really, it's just, I think that is going to be critical, is water storage. Absolutely.
I've been looking at doing it, but I think the issue is floods at my place.
Yeah, right.
It has to be. I can't have an underground one.
And it might wash away if it's.
Well, it's not necessarily. It's unlikely it will wash away.
Or float.
But then I suppose you need water pumps and there's a bit to it.
That's not like the thing about my place. I've got a spring-fed tank up the top at the header tank, and then I've got a big tank down the bottom that collects the rainwater, and I just have like a really cheap Azedo pump that pumps that water back up to my header tank. But you wouldn't.
I don't have the head height, so I need a pressure tank, so a pressure pump, but that's fine. You just plumb one in. Well, I wouldn't be plumbing one in.
Or you could just have a rainwater tank that would collect your rainwater, and you could just get buckets and watering cans. Old school like me. It's not plumbed in.
It's very doable.
Or a hose that runs into the kitchen. I think that's what I'm finding increasingly as I'm having to do this journey by myself and building and all that stuff. It's like it's just dodge, but it works because I'm just gonna fudge it.
but that's part of the off-grid life.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, for me anyway, because I don't have the money to do it. Or I don't-
Learning to adapt.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I guess I would just tell people that the technology's come a long way, and that living hybrid or off grid is very doable nowadays. I know, like with my partner, she thinks that when we go off grid, we're going to be having to do things like, watering cans and buckets and stuff. I'm just like, there'll be no difference. Like by the time we get our system installed, you won't even know we're off grid, and we'll be living the high life. So it's not like it used to be. It's very easy to go hybrid and off grid nowadays.
And I also think, like you brought up water, I also think food is probably like the third one. I mean, there's lots of things, components, but it's just say food, power, and water would kind of be the main core. And, there's amazing examples. I've seen better food production in small spaces than I have on big properties. Like quite amazing. So I think maybe we'll try and find some examples of the water. That would be cool.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Once we finish at the front of my place, we're setting up an aquaponics system.
I want to do that too.
So
let's do the aquaponics stuff.
Producing some food.
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else to add, Nathan?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all.
Thanks for sharing your roof design with us.
No worries.
Cool. All right. Well, I forgot to say, look, there's a chat there. Somebody said something. I haven't even. That's so sweet. Oh my gosh. That's your girlfriend, isn't it? I haven't met her yet. But that's so lovely. Oh, thank you. Oh, look, we've got more. Here we go. Can we hear? Sorry, I haven't even been looking at it. We can hear you, and that's awesome. And someone asked how big your batteries are. Is that you, Nathan? How big your battery is going to be? I don't know mine. I have no idea. I think I learnt the other day that they're gel acid batteries because they're all contained and I don't have to top them up with water anymore. I'm a bit ignorant when it comes to the technical side of things.
That's all right.
They're big enough to do the job.
Yeah. And I feel confident that I work here now because it's like, got that backup.
Yeah.
How big are your batteries?
Well, I'm going to have one that's a 4 kilowatt hour power plus. So that'll be 4,000 watt hours of storage.
Great. Well, we're gonna go, but if anyone has any questions, you can also ask questions after we've aired on the recording, and we're always happy to answer anything, or make shows, or talk about specific things, whatever questions you've got with off-grid living.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.